Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope that you have not just jumped to the next session, but you actually spent some time working on hacks 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and now you have changed. You're a different person than you were before you started with the 7 Life Hacks. How are you different? Talk to me. How are you different? Before, you were just inundated all day long with your shitstorm of painful thoughts that sucked up your life force and left you exhausted and anxious and depressed and unhappy and unmotivated, etc. And now you said, hey, wait a second. That shitstorm is not me. It's coming in unbidden, unrequested by me, and now I'm not paying any attention to it unless it serves me. So I'm assuming that you're mastering that. You're not perfect at it yet, but you feel a new sense of freedom, power, control, and that whatever number you started with, life force 2, 3, 1.5, it's ticking up now and you're getting into at least the 4, 5, 6 numbers. If so, you're a big winner and you're doing great, and we're going to move on to hacking your external world. So what you find when the beast is vanquished or at least beat down is that all of a sudden that voice isn't in charge of you anymore. You're not running around worrying what other people are thinking about you all the time or what you should be doing that the beast is telling you you should do or shouldn't do and is running your life. Now you're in charge. And that's what the last 3 hacks are going to help you do. Be in charge of dealing with the people in your life, dealing with the circumstances of your daily activities, your daily grind, and dealing with how you relate to your body. So hopefully all 3 of those hacks will be meaningful and useful to you, and by the end of the 7 hacks you will be what? Unfuckwithable. Do you know what I mean by that, unfuckwithable? Of course you do. I mean, whatever life throws at you, you're in a position to deal with without losing your cool. How do we go about hacking the external world? And I think, for hacking your internal world, we said, well, where do thoughts come from? Because that's what the internal world is all about, right? So the question that kind of arises on a similar vein for dealing with the external world is, why are we here? Now, if you think you know why we're here, let's say I'm here to know, love, and serve God in this world and be with Him in the next. That's what I got in catechism of Catholic school when I was a little kid. Maybe that's you say, well, no, I'm here to live an infinite number of lifetimes until I attain enlightenment. Okay, if you have a reason that you think that's why we're here, and it's aiding your life force, I want you to hang on to that dearly. Like maybe you're in a 12-step program and you're surrendering to a higher power. If that gives you some sense of peace or anything that when you think about that topic, your life force goes up, I want you to hang on to it. If you think about that topic of why we're here and whatever answer you learned from your parents or your school or your local church, if it's adding to your misery, we're going to hack it. I believe, after having spent a lot of time thinking about this topic and studying and researching it, that we really don't know why we're here. Why don't we know why we're here? That's weird, isn't it? It's true. So mankind has been thinking about this for a long time and has come up with a lot of potential answers. That's okay. I still don't think we know. And we're probably going to die not knowing. So the good news is you get to pick. Starting right now, because we're not letting the beast rule our lives anymore, you're going to get to pick on a lot of topics, and that's one of the main ones. Why are we here? So I'm just going to talk about this a little tiny bit, and then I'm going to give you the one I've chosen to believe and see if that helps you in your pursuit of upping your life force, okay? So like many of you, I grew up in one of the linear systems of sort of answering these questions. Religion, I was Catholic. And, the Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, these linear systems say basically you live one life. And then at the end of that life, something happens. And most of them believe that you get judged by a higher power depending on how you performed in this life. And if you did a good job, you get a reward. If you didn't do a good job, you don't fare as well. This is a pretty serious deal we're doing here if everything for all eternity depends on how you do in this, short 75-year span or something, right? It's kind of intense. So that's one system that billions of people believe in, and the other one is more of the cyclical system, which is, the Buddhism, Sikhism, there's like Hinduism. There's a bunch of them that say, hey, no, it's not. You don't just get one life. You reincarnate, you have infinite number of lives, and you keep spinning around the wheel until you pay off your karmic debt and achieve enlightenment. And then we don't know exactly where you go when you're enlightened, but it's somewhere non-physical, just like the linear systems say after you die, your consciousness goes somewhere non-physical and you get judged. This one's not so much you're being judged, you sort of achieve this enlightenment. So obviously I'm no expert at these, and there are dozens of other systems of belief that you could subscribe to about why are we here? Why are we here? Every morning you get up, why am I here? What's going on? Some people don't ask that question, but I think many of us do. So that's why we're going to talk about it a little bit. And as you know, what's been going on with science lately is making things even weirder, because you look at quantum theory and also what we're learning about astronomy is that, first of all, you and I are made up of atoms, or molecules, which are in turn made up of atoms, which are 99.99999999999% empty space. So for practical purposes, you and I are empty space. We don't even know what empty space is, because some large percentage of the universe, like 96%, is made up of dark matter and dark energy, neither of which we know anything about. So why am I telling you this? Because I want you to loosen up any thoughts that might be restricting you about why we're here. Because not only do we have no idea why we're here, we don't even know where here is. And we certainly don't know what we are and what we're capable of. Okay, so the question of, do you believe in consciousness after death? Turns out about 80% of people do. 20% of people go, no, it's all biochemistry. When the biochemistry stops, consciousness ends. I don't know what's right. I'm surprised that 80% of people agree on anything, but 80% of people apparently agree on the fact that consciousness survives the death of the human body. Well, getting back around to hack 5, you do you, and how are you going to deal with the internal world, I want to present to you something that's maybe a novel interpretation of another alternative to, I mentioned 2, by the way, which was the linear systems such as Christianity and the cyclical systems such as Buddhism. And there's a newer New Age approach which says, there's non-physical, and mankind is actually going to stay physically embodied, but it's going to evolve into like a Christ-like personality that oversees the physical universe, custodians or guardians of the physical universe. I think that's kind of interesting. It's a little bit more upbeat, perhaps, than, you get judged after one lifetime, and that's going to determine how you spend eternity. But we don't have any evidence that that's true either. I'd like, if you're interested in that approach, check out Ken Carey's short little book called The Starseed Transmissions. I think it's very mind-blowing to explore that alternative. But I'm going to give you a 4th alternative, which is put forth in my explorations. I found it from the people who claim to be able to shift their consciousness and do out-of-body experiences, and also people who channel supposedly entities from the non-physical. They sort of turn over their body and somebody talks who doesn't have a body right now. It's called channeling. They have said that, no, it's not so much we're being judged, it's we're being trained. And that, not only do we have these billion stars in the universe and maybe infinite number of physical universes, but there are also an infinite number of non-physical universes that consciousness can actually explore without a physical body. And in these, there's so-called two main types of non-physical universes or realities, and one of them is called consensus thought realities, which is what we're in right now. We all sort of agree that these are the rules in order to come here, let's say, and that the physical world is going to be like it is, and in order to change it, you have to get agreement to make a significant change, you have to get agreement of a consensus of a large number of creative minds. Okay, that's a consensus thought reality, and you're in one right now. And the reason you're here, according to this approach, is you're here in a consensus thought reality so that when you get control of your thoughts and emotions, so that you're using them as a creative force instead of being whipsawed back and forth by them, you can graduate upon death. You can graduate, you don't even have to die in some of these perspectives, but you can graduate to a non-consensus thought reality where you get to use your creative force to create far beyond what you can do right now. In other words, your thoughts are a creative force that manifests things kind of in real time. You don't have to like build a cabinet by sawing on wood. If you want to have a cabinet in a non-consensus reality, thought reality, you just manifest a cabinet, as an example. So, but you're not allowed into those realities until you have some control over this, because if you have a chaotic mind and chaotic emotions and you go into a non-consensus thought reality, you're gonna wreak havoc around that. It's not gonna work. So you get to graduate, able to explore other realms when you use the earth as a training ground to control your thoughts and emotions. And you could say, well, most of us don't really control our thoughts and emotions, so we probably belong in a consensus thought reality. Are you still with me? That's been a long rant. Okay, I'm going to stop right now, and I'll see you soon. Okay.